Picture this: one of rap's most iconic figures, A$AP Rocky, staring down the possibility of 24 years behind bars. Standing by his side, maybe as a wife, maybe only as a partner, is none other than global superstar Rihanna. Sounds like a twisted Hollywood script, doesn't it? Yet this is the very real situation unfolding right now. While A$AP Rocky battles accusations of a firearm assault, the entire internet buzzes with a single burning question: is he secretly married to Rihanna, and could that be his ticket to freedom? How did we land here, with A$AP Rocky's freedom on the line and Rihanna's name unexpectedly part of the discussion? To understand, we have to rewind to November 2021, when a routine night in Hollywood allegedly took a violent turn. According to prosecutors, A$AP Rocky, whose real name is Rakeem Mayers, fired shots at a former friend, Terell Efron, near a trendy hotel. Some say it was just 3 rounds, others say 4. Either way, a bullet supposedly grazed Efron's hand, leaving him with minor injuries. The police reports paint a tense scenario. A$AP and Efron had been friends since childhood, but animosity was brewing. On that November night, something triggered an argument that ended with A$AP allegedly reaching for a gun. Efron, despite being shaken and hurt, later produced 9mm shell casings to law enforcement. Shell casings he claimed he picked up right at the scene. No fingerprints were recovered, and no physical weapon was found in A$AP Rocky's possession. However, a snippet of surveillance footage reportedly captured a hooded figure holding what appeared to be a handgun. Investigators argued that the figure was almost certainly A$AP Rocky, though the defense team insists the footage is inconclusive. Facing 2 felony charges for assault with a semi-automatic firearm, A$AP Rocky pleaded not guilty. A conviction could mean more than 2 decades behind bars, long enough to disrupt the star's entire career and personal life. Yet A$AP, ever confident, maintained he would be exonerated, telling his lawyer he'd gladly testify if the situation called for it. But that's not the only surprise, because as the case moved toward trial, one curious detail emerged. Would Rihanna, potentially his wife, take the stand, and would spousal privilege keep her from revealing anything that might incriminate him? This sudden focus on Rihanna's legal status shook fans to the core. Nobody expected the singer, business mogul, and fashion icon to become a pivotal figure in a criminal trial involving the father of her children. But as the next section reveals, one question from the judge lit the fuse on all the marriage rumors that had been simmering for years. We jump ahead to January 2025. A$AP Rocky stands in court for a preliminary hearing, and the judge, Mark S. Arnold, poses a seemingly mundane question. So is Rihanna the defendant's wife? Most casual observers might wonder why it even matters. Yet legally, it's massive. Under various state and federal laws, spouses can't be compelled to spill private conversations in court, a concept known as spousal privilege. If Rihanna is recognized as A$AP's wife, she might sidestep damaging testimony or refuse to reveal crucial info that could hurt him. Rocky's lawyer, Joe A., referred to Rihanna as A$AP's common-law wife. Prosecutors immediately objected, arguing that common-law marriage is only recognized in certain states and certain conditions, so calling her his wife is legally misleading if they don't have an actual marriage certificate. The tension in the courtroom rose. The judge wanted clarity. Are they formally married somewhere, or are we using this term casually? In many places, being labeled a spouse triggers protections far beyond that of a mere girlfriend or partner. For A$AP, this distinction could be worth literal decades of freedom. If Rihanna's testimony or private knowledge could sway the jury, the defense would love to keep it off the record. Fans and legal experts alike started questioning if the couple's rumored private wedding was no rumor at all, but rather a carefully timed strategy, or was Rihanna truly an unknowing piece of the puzzle? The stir around this matter is so intense because spousal privilege isn't one size fits all. Some courts only grant privilege for conversations that happened during the marriage, ignoring what was said before. Others might extend it to all past communications, so long as the couple is married by the time of trial. And if Rihanna testifies of her own free will, perhaps to show support for A$AP, her words could be unstoppable. The major question in this entire legal saga, though, remains: is she actually Mrs. Mayers, or is that label just an attempt to block the prosecution from digging too deep? Before we explore how that question mushroomed into social media pandemonium, let's rewind to how this high-powered relationship has evolved over the years, and the rumors that have followed them from day one. A$AP Rocky and Rihanna first started making headlines together around 2012 or 2013 through collaborations and joint tours. Even then, onlookers gossiped about whether they were just friends or something more. Paparazzi snapped photos of them laughing backstage stage, partying in New York City, and traveling in groups. They remained coy for years, fueling public curiosity while never giving a direct answer. Fast forward to 2020, when things got more direct. Rihanna, having split from billionaire Hassan Jameel, re-emerged on the dating scene, and pictures of her and ASAP strolling arm in arm instantly broke the internet. They openly attended events together, including high-fashion shows and glitzy award functions. By early 2021, ASAP publicly declared Rihanna the love of my life. In interviews, an uncharacteristically open admission for two celebs known to keep their private lives under lock and key. But even in that loved-up atmosphere, cheating rumors lurked. One particularly dramatic rumor in 2022 claimed ASAP cheated with shoe designer Amina Muaddi, a frequent Rihanna collaborator. Social media went wild. Some fans turned on ASAP, demanding Rihanna dump him. However, both Amina and Rihanna quickly dismissed the rumor as nonsense. Amina called it a malicious and fabricated story, effectively shutting it down. Still, speculation about a secret marriage only heightened when ASAP started calling Rihanna his wife during performances. Then came the DMB music video, in which Rihanna wore bridal attire, seemingly celebrating wedding vows with ASAP on camera. Was it a genuine ceremony hidden in plain sight, or just provocative storytelling? The duo provided no clear answers, and the music industry thrived on that mystique. Now, facing the possibility that courts might consider Rihanna an actual wife, fans are sifting through every cryptic lyric, Instagram caption, and interview snippet for evidence. Some remain convinced the pair married in a private ceremony months or even years ago. Others think it's just romantic verbiage, nothing more. As the conversation heats up, we have to address something else that looms large over ASAP's image: his troubled past and the controversies he just can't seem to shake. If this were ASAP Rocky's first brush with the law, some folks might be inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yet his history reads like a cautionary tale of fame, excess, and missteps. First, there was the Sweden incident in 2019. A video surfaced showing ASAP and his entourage in a street fight with two men who, according to Rocky, were harassing them. Swedish authorities arrested the rapper for assault, and he spent weeks in a detention center as the US media followed every turn. Even then, President Donald Trump inserted himself into the situation, publicly demanding Sweden release Rocky. Though eventually freed, the entire episode foreshadowed the legal predicaments that were yet to come. Second, ASAP's personal revelations about his addiction painted a picture of a man battling inner turmoil. He confessed in interviews that by the time he was just 13, he was already experimenting with group encounters. Some fans admired his honesty, while others felt uneasy about his cavalier approach to intimacy. Claims of organizing racy parties, complete with custom-made beds, only fueled curiosity and gossip. In a world already scrutinizing his every move, these intimate details exposed a side of him most mainstream artists keep hidden. Third, the colorism scandal. During an interview, ASAP famously stated that darker-skinned women might not pull off red lipstick as well as lighter-skinned women. The backlash was immediate and heated, especially from Black female fans. His initial response was defensive. In subsequent interviews, he tried to clarify, suggesting he never intended to belittle anyone. But the internet is relentless, and many still hold that moment against him. Compounding these issues are numerous smaller disputes, from rumored beefs with other artists to public spats over brand endorsements. None, however, have the potential to reshape his life like the charges in the 2021 Hollywood shooting. And that's where Rihanna's influence might shift the entire narrative. If, of course, they're actually married. But even before you dig into the marriage question, the big matter remains. Will ASAP's problematic history come back to haunt him in front of a judge and jury? Could older controversies paint him as someone prone to reckless or violent behavior? Or will the defense argue these incidents are unconnected, painting him as a target for malicious accusations? We'll see exactly how his lawyers plan to juggle these narratives as the current trial heats up. In the meantime, all eyes are on the latest legal maneuvers. Could Rihanna's involvement overshadow every shred of evidence? Or might the spotlight on her, ironically, make things worse for ASAP? With the trial date set and preliminary hearings in motion, the past few months have proven anything but smooth sailing for ASAP Rocky. Prosecutors remain steadfast in their portrayal of him as an aggressor. They cite the retrieved shell casings, the surveillance footage, and Efron's testimony as the foundation of a strong case. Even though no weapon was ever recovered in ASAP's possession, the prosecution insists there's enough circumstantial evidence to convict. Meanwhile, ASAP's lawyer Joe A. has displayed unwavering confidence. "We're ready to present our side of the story," he's told reporters. He hints that once a jury hears the full sequence of events, how Efron allegedly provoked or threatened ASAP, everything will fall into place. Rocky himself is said to be weighing whether to take the stand, eager to present himself as a peaceful father, partner, or husband to Rihanna, and a successful musician who wouldn't jeopardize his life so foolishly. It's not just about these two men pointing fingers at each other, though. The trial features an undercurrent of celebrity influence. Will the jury be swayed by ASAP's popularity and charitable deeds, or Rihanna's formidable presence? Some legal analysts argue that high-profile relationships often backfire when it comes to legal proceedings. The defense might try to brand AST as a loving family man, but the prosecution can easily highlight the controversies swirling around him, including possible reasons he'd feel untouchable. Adding fuel to the intrigue, the judge's fixation on Rihanna's legal status can shape the outcome. If the court rules that Rihanna is recognized as ASAP's lawful spouse, whether by common law or official documentation, then certain testimony may be suppressed or rendered moot. If she's not, the prosecution could call her in, using her potential knowledge of ASAP's mindset, confessions, or actions to strengthen their case. The tension is intense enough to overshadow typical court formalities, placing Rihanna in an unprecedented hot seat. Fans and critics alike are glued to every word from Joe A. or the prosecution's office. But beyond the legal strategies, there's another layer: how the public is reacting, analyzing, and sometimes roasting these developments online. In today's world, no celebrity controversy is complete without social media platforms blowing up. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, each has become a battleground for theories, hot takes, and heated debates around the ASAP-Rihanna conundrum. Shortly after the judge's "Is Rihanna his wife?" query hit the headlines, #ASAP-Rihanna marriage trended. Some fans joke that Rihanna might walk into court in a wedding gown, brandishing a marriage certificate at the last minute. Others launched more serious discussions, parsing through legal codes on marital privilege, hoping to find a definitive loophole that ASAP might exploit. On Reddit's hip-hop forums, amateur legal scholars are dissecting everything from historical spousal privilege cases to speculation about whether Rihanna might be pregnant again, which could sway public sympathy. Memes are flying around showing Rihanna side-eyeing a hypothetical wedding ring she never asked for, or ASAP whispering, "You're my wife, right?" in an attempt to seal the deal legally. Rihanna's dedicated fans, often referring to her as Queen Ree, are split. Some remain supportive, convinced her loyalty is absolute and that ASAP's innocent. Others worry she's risking her billion-dollar empire on a man with a track record of troublesome incidents. One especially vocal group claims she's being used for legal advantage, an accusation that's grown louder as the case drags on. Meanwhile, certain corners of the internet have begun relitigating old controversies. They point to ASAP's colorism comments, his S-addiction confessions, and the Sweden brawl as signs he's capable of volatile behavior. Another segment sees him as a scapegoat, persecuted by a sensational media narrative. The diversity of opinions underscores just how polarizing this situation has become and how enthralled the public is by every twist. Behind all the hype, though, lies a deeper question. Are these marriage rumors a media creation, or is there an actual behind-the-scenes strategy to transform Rihanna into a shield against prosecution? Hollywood is built on carefully curated images, hush-hush PR strategies, and illusions that feed headlines. In that sense, the possibility of ASAP Rocky and Rihanna orchestrating a secret wedding to wield in court isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. High-profile lawyers have been known to suggest dramatic moves, like pregnancies, engagements, or statement-making philanthropic gestures to redirect public sentiment or muddy the prosecutorial waters. But is that what's happening here? Some cynics claim yes. They believe ASAP has methodically referred to Rihanna as his wife in performances, interviews, and social media posts to plant that idea long before the trial. According to this theory, by the time the judge inevitably asked about marital status, it would feel almost natural to say, yes, they're basically married. Others believe Rihanna, a savvy businesswoman, wouldn't let herself be manipulated for purely legal reasons. If she's calling him husband or allowing him to label her that way, it could be from genuine love, not a cunning plan. There's also the factor of media spin. Even if no marriage certificate exists, tabloids feed off speculation like this. A single slip of the tongue, ASAP calling Rihanna his wife, can spawn a week's worth of clickbait headlines, keeping the star couple in the spotlight. Some publicists might argue that continuous coverage, even if scandalous, benefits brand awareness. More eyes on Rihanna's new album or Fenty releases, more buzz around ASAP's music. Good or bad, the public is talking. Yet let's not forget how precarious this all is. A legal trial for assault with a firearm is no small drama. If the marriage narrative is just media hype, it might crumble under cross-examination. Judges can be quite rigid about these matters. If there's no real documentation, no valid common law recognition, the entire wife label could backfire, making ASAP look deceptive. What's real and what's theater? Only the couple themselves and their lawyers truly know. For now, the swirl of possibility keeps audiences enthralled, as each new development potentially reveals cracks or confirms what fans have suspected all along. And as we inch closer to the climactic moments of this trial, the stakes continue to rise. So, where does this all lead? Jury selection. That's the next massive hurdle if the case goes to full trial. Selecting a jury for a high-profile celebrity trial is a delicate dance. Potential jurors might walk in with preconceived notions about ASAP's innocence or guilt, or they might have strong feelings about Rihanna's involvement. Some will be starstruck by the idea of seeing her in the courtroom. Others might resent celebrities who they perceive as above the law. Once the jury is seated, the prosecution will lay out its evidence: the shell casings Efron turned in, any ballistic analysis, and the surveillance footage depicting that hooded figure. Efron will likely take the stand to recount the night he was allegedly shot at. ASAP's legal team will tear into any inconsistencies in Efron's story, highlight the lack of direct proof tying ASAP to the gun, and present any alibis or eyewitnesses who contradict Efron's account. Then comes Rihanna's part. If the judge rules she can be compelled to testify, the media circus will escalate. Will she maintain that she had no knowledge of ASAP's disputes with Efron? Could she share texts or statements that prove ASAP was acting in self-defense? Or does she have no relevant information at all? Alternatively, if spousal privilege is granted and recognized, it might shut down an entire line of prosecution questioning. Beyond the trial's result, these proceedings might leave a lasting scar on both ASAP and Rihanna's legacies. If ASAP is found guilty and sentenced, his music career might stall or fade entirely. Rihanna's brand might take a PR hit, criticized for standing by someone convicted of serious violence. If he's acquitted, critics might accuse them of beating the system, using every trick in the book, including possible marital privilege, to skate by. For fans, the uncertainty is excruciating. People want to see their idols flourish, but the slow grind of a criminal case doesn't bow to public sentiment. The timeline is set by legal procedures, not by the demands of trending hashtags. Every hearing, every motion, every small piece of evidence can shift how the public and the courts view ASAP Rocky. Which brings us to the question that started this entire media firestorm. Is ASAP Rocky using Rihanna, or are we all just witnessing the normal ups and downs of a couple who happen to be two of the biggest stars on the planet? By now, we've seen the mounting evidence, the fan conspiracies, and the alleged common law marriage. We've heard the arguments for and against the idea that ASAP is leveraging Rihanna for legal cover. Yet there's no simple yes or no answer. On one hand, the timing seems suspicious. The deeper ASAP fell into this legal quagmire, the more often he referred to Rihanna as his wife. Their music video cameo with a wedding theme fanned the flames, leaving many convinced it was all part of a carefully constructed narrative. If the end game is to ensure Rihanna can't be forced to reveal anything incriminating or damaging to ASAP, calling her a wife, legally or otherwise, would be a potent tactic. On the other hand, Rihanna is no shrinking violet. She's a global mogul with a net worth that surpasses many record labels. It's tough to picture her being manipulated into a sham marriage or duped for strategic advantage. Fans point out that Rihanna has always moved on her own terms, from her reinvention of the beauty industry to her philanthropic work. If she's fine with ASAP labeling her as a wife, perhaps they privately tied the knot, or maybe she just likes the term as a sign of commitment. A further angle is that the two have children together. For many couples, the simple reality of starting a family changes labels, emotional bonds, and how they choose to present themselves to the world. Maybe marriage is a natural progression. Maybe they don't care about the legalities and see each other as spouses anyway. And if that perspective offers a legal advantage, who's to say they wouldn't use it? Ultimately, the evidence of using someone can't be pinned on a single statement or action. It's about patterns, intent, and outcomes. If ASAP emerges unscathed, critics will forever suspect that Rihanna's status played a role. If he's convicted, the conversation might pivot to whether their relationship could survive such turmoil. Either possibility will generate headlines and memes for months, maybe years to come. ASAP Rocky faces serious felony charges that could land him 24 years behind bars, and Rihanna's potential status as his wife is now central to his defense. If they're truly married, spousal privilege might block pivotal testimony and tip the scales in his favor. If not, the trial could expose more than either star bargained for, legally and personally. Whether you see it as a genuine love story or a strategic move, the stakes couldn't be higher. Keep watching for the latest developments, and let us know if you think this rumored marriage is the real deal